Good evening, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the TMT Tuesday Takeover chat. I'm your host, Lawfully Armed. See if we can't get some more folks roll in here. Try and get Pat Riot. Team Quack Attack first in. What up? Thanks for being here. Goop, what up? You got a link if you want to join. It's over on, well, hell, I can drop it in right here. Let's see here. Pow. Won't drop this, pull a mad shed and just drop the open invite to everybody. If I recognize the name, I'll let them in. If not, I won't risk somebody putting their butthole out like they did on Chad's. See if we can't get some guests going because I can't keep it all by myself. There's Coop.
Hey, what's up, brother?
What up? Hate the
Dude.
Muffin Top had to go.
Yeah, sound like he had to go get somebody out of jam. I understand that,
Yep.
man. So what's been happening in the lawful world these days, brother?
Oh, sell guns, rinse and repeat.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's that buying season time of the year. You write orders for stuff, and maybe some of it comes in right away, and some of it doesn't. You're just trying to beg, borrow, and steal to get everything people are asking for.
It's I don't know, because I mean I know it runs through spurts and everything. Gun shops get hit up, and then you go through those slack times. But you got to make that money while it's there.
Yeah, and now it's those working people getting their income tax return.
Oh yeah,
So there.
that was like the COVID checks.
Oh yeah, I mean it was the COVID years for famine and feast. Last year was a whole lot of famine. The whole gun industry hurt last year.
Yeah,
It's all kind of starting to reach equilibration. Maybe start to heal.
hopefully so, man. But whenever a Republican gets in, everything kind of slumps.
Yeah, but that's the end of the day. That's good for the gun owning public because it forces the companies to either get good on the price of the stuff they already make, or innovate and come out with new stuff that moves the needle.
Dude, getting some of these gun companies to actually innovate on some stuff is just, it seems like, man, you can't get them to do
No.
But which I mean, I've said plenty of time on streams, man. There's some guys in the 3D printing world that these gun companies are absolutely retarded not to hire some of these guys. Because they're just coming out with really cool designs.
I love all those kits that are based off of the Scorpion, like the Scorpion bolt and mags.
Oh yeah,
There's some cool stuff there.
it just seems like, I mean, well, unless Caltech, and they just got a whole lot of cocaine and time on their hands.
If they just put the stuff together with better hardware,
yeah,
they'd really be onto something. Because Kellgren and his engineers come up with some really awesome designs. It's just the execution is the failure.
yeah, absolutely.
Which I don't know. I don't know.
I've had my hands on a few, and you're right, man. The execution is, well, leaves a lot to be desired.
All those YKK screws and, or not YKK, that's zippers, the good zippers. Whatever the Chinese screws are, those YFS or something screws, with like nuts set into the plastic on the opposing side and super glue, and
they could definitely work on that quite a bit.
And maybe this new pistol, whether it ends up being a win or not, I think it's pretty niche. They're not out trying to get everybody's money with that one, but maybe the new plant in Montana is a signal that Wyoming. It's Wyoming, I think. Wyoming or Montana, one or the other. Maybe that's a sign that they've got some big things coming in the future.
You talking about the stripper clip fed one?
Yes. Yeah, the new PR-57.
Yeah.
Pistol rotating barrel 5.7.
Dude, John Crump said he shot one of them at I think one of the first days at SHOT Show, and the whole barrel and slide and everything just flung off the front of the gun. So obviously they got a little bit of work to do on that one, but I mean, the takedown on it's really interesting because I mean, all you're doing is bumping trigger forward, roll your slide right off of it. Simple takedown, and it gets around a bunch of the stupid, detachable mag bands. But sooner or later they're going to come for that too. We all know it. How many rounds does that thing hold?
20.
Yeah, they're going to come after that one. It's already in a couple of bands where even it would be banned as an assault weapon if it could hold more than 10 rounds, even in a blind mag like that.
Yeah. Well, there's no reason for them to not, because that would give them the option to sell it in all 50 states. And then the states that already outlawed them or that go after them, then all that Kellgren has to do is throw a 10-round follower inside of there and block it up to 10 rounds, and they can keep selling the same gun.
I mean, like I said, I know where they're going with it, and it's freaking cool. Is it a gun I'd run out and pick up? No, man. No.
5.7 as a cartridge doesn't interest me.
No, me.
But I know there's a lot of people that are hip to it. I know several older guys that have their wives into them because it's something more than a 22, but it doesn't kick a lot. And I don't want shot at by a woman that's confident with one.
No, it's
I mean, it's my jam.
It's an interesting cartridge, but like I say, it's not something that I'm infatuated with, or I got to go get the next 5.7 whatever. If I was going to do a smaller cartridge like that, to be honest with you, I'd go like 22 TCM or something like that.
Yeah, I had hoped that was going to go somewhere, but Arms Corps seems to not want to like semi-spec it and let everybody run with it. They've hoarded it to themselves. Just the same thing that Oh, Alexander with Alexander Arms is what he's done with the Beowulf and the Grendel cartridges. I take that back. I think he may be semi-spec Grendel because there's some other companies that load Grendel ammo. Yeah, but the
Yeah,
Beowulf, he won't semi-spec that one. Let other people, so they've got to
Grendel's
gotta
something
load
that
it.
one of the guys that I know has got me interested in doing a Grendel build. Because it really didn't interest me at first, but him talking about the ballistics and the accuracy he's getting out of it, and then looking at some of the other ballistics and of course the energy it's putting on target,
Yeah.
starting to get interested in it.
Before you spend money on it, look at the new 6 Dart.
Yeah, I know.
Because Hornady's just printing money with all their new cartridges. They take off. I wish the Federal had that same luck. I wish that they could get the 30 Super Carry to take off. I'd be excited about that.
Let's see, 30 Super is another one that, you know, it's been out for a little while, but it's nothing that's been like that I've really wanted to look at real hard.
Supposedly it's really great competition shooters, I heard.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it could be a great cartridge. It's just, I don't know. It's nothing that's been on my radar or something I had to go chase. Freaking Eagle Run is doing his best to get me interested in some of the 6.8 cartridges. Just because they're short, fat, and slow like me.
Yeah. 270, just squeezed into a shorter case.
I don't know. I'm a 308, 9mm, and 5.56 kind of guy.
I'm doing the same thing.
You're squeezing 270 into a shorter case.
308 is a solid round. It's always going to be a solid round, especially for hunting down here because, you know, we're not trying to make 900-yard shots most of the time with what we're shooting.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if we gotta go to center fire cartridges soon in PA with how much we're just getting built up. That are shotguns.
So explain that one to me since I'm a retard and I haven't talked to you that much. What's going on with
that? The center fire cartridges in PA?
Yeah.
It's so they don't travel that far is what the whole thing is, and there's been people getting shot at while hunting while just sitting in their home because people don't check their background. And they just go pew because they see a deer.
Yeah, that's always nice of someone to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's plenty of people that do it. Jesus. I mean, every single year, there's always stories about someone blasting somebody because they heard a movement and pow. I think one of the worst ones I ever heard, I think it was here in Alabama. Had to have been 10 years ago. A guy was hunting on some family property. He wasn't he wasn't part of the family, but he's hunting on their property, and he caught something through the trees, just kind of this white flash, pulled the trigger, and killed like the kid was a toddler, blonde headed as could be, and that's absolutely ridiculous to me.
Yeah, that is crazy. I mean, I think like turkey hunting is like the craziest thing in PA. Everywhere, actually.
Turkey hunting can get a little rough because everybody's right there on the ground. Everybody's camoed out. But still, you don't shoot at anything you can't completely identify. Just, it's never a good thing.
I went turkey hunting out here in Florida, and I didn't like it.
You guys have turkeys in Florida?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, dude, the
this
Osceola birds. Yeah,
Yeah, the Osceola is the only one that I liked. I went after a couple of the other ones, and I was like, if I'm gonna do it, it's gonna be Osceola.
yeah. Turkeys are big all the way through the South.
Hmm.
Dude, the first time I went turkey hunting, out on Fort Benning with my dad, I called in a bird. He never gobbled. He never made a noise. It was like poof, and he was standing by the decoy, and my dad shot him. It's like, okay. Every other time I went hunting since then, those birds will get hung up on hens. They're walking the other direction. They don't care what I'm talking about.
So I'm about to go turkey hunting my first year. So I got told that you need decoys for sure.
Deeks are always good to have. I mean, for sure. Have you a couple calls, and not that I'm saying I'm the turkey hunting wizard, because obviously I just said I haven't called another one in since the first one I called in. But even getting them to talk, have a slate. I do like mouth calls and a box call, stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, I can call pretty damn good. They just don't listen to me.
Well, I mean, it's not nearly as boring as sitting down and waiting for something to come trotting by. At least it's a little bit more interactive.
Yeah, you can definitely get more fun in kind of calling and listening.
I think that's why I like small game hunting, because I can just constantly move, look for squirrels.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons I love alligator hunting so much, because you got 3-4 people on a boat going and chasing lizards, man. It's always a blast.
I want to go out and legally do that.
Dude, alligator hunting is an absolute riot.
I deal with them. Part of what I do for some of my cash work is dealing with them, and yeah, I deal with them on private property and stuff like that. But I want to be able to go out and go get a freaking monster one of these days.
Man, they're an absolute. You may go through hours in a night where you're just watching small gator, but when you get one on the line, it's like a freaking Chinese fire drill. It's a blast.
What do you guys usually take them out with?
Normally, man, when we hook up on one, we'll hook them up on a snatch hook on a rod and reel, hit them with a crossbow rig with a heavier line, and then I've killed them with anything from a 22 to a 9mm.
Yeah, that's what we've been doing. So, okay.
Yeah, there's really nothing to kill them. You just got to make sure you get them right there, dead in the brain.
Right in the brain.
And you lay them out. But it's an absolute blast, man. That's my favorite hunting to do. And we ain't been able to do it in the last 2 years, I think. But man, I love it.
Is it just like that?
Everywhere out here, every body of water around me, you shine your light on it at night and you're like, fuck, ain't going in there.
Oh yeah. Dude, the rivers down here, basically, right just north of me on the river and then down the river is just eat up with gators. You hit about right towards the head of where Fort Benning hits the river. You hit just past that, and you typically aren't going to see a whole lot of gators. And we've chased some absolute bruisers. I'm talking 13-foot or better down here.
Yeah.
Jeez. You guys can keep them up there.
I mean, even during some of the larger bass tournaments and stuff, you go out the day after and there'll be a couple of dead ones out there. It's just there's so many around to get smacked by boats.
Oh yeah. Dude, I hit one it's been years ago. It was probably 2000. Yeah, I squared one in the middle of the river late one night heading down river. And I mean, you could feel that motor thumping. It's just, luckily enough, it was only a 40 horse. He was a little sore. He wasn't swimming real right, but he was back up and he was not happy. I do believe he gave me the middle finger that night.
What up, Calhoun? Calhoun, will you let me know when Honda's live? I don't want to step over on him. I've never been turkey hunting, but I recommend shooting them in the face.
Yes.
Yeah, come on, you guys sell those targets at your gun shop.
I had a painter one time that was originally from this area that said 30-30 works good if you shoot them behind the wing.
I have known some people that have shot them with a lot of other things other than shotguns. One did it with a 375 H&H mag one time.
I just turned it into one big chicken ring.
I mean, the dude's not alive anymore, but I think all he had left was the wings, part of the tail fan. That was pretty much it.
Just hollowed it out.
Yeah. Pretty much everything was gone.
That's crazy.
It was, but the dude was kind of a nut. I loved him to death, but yeah.
See, more around here, turkeys are so scarce for most folks that I don't think that even a scumbag would waste a turkey that way.
Dude, birds up there are that scarce.
Well, they've not managed. So hogs are a big problem, and then for some reason, Game and Fish does prescribe burns during nesting season, like early spring. They do the prescribed burns. It's like you're screwing them.
Dude,
our quail are bad now.
Where are you at, Lawfully?
Arkansas.
Arkansas. Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, that explains it. I got family in Lucy and Brinkley, and used to have a lot more family down there, but yeah.
I remember being a kid sitting out on the porch at night, and you could hear. We had at least 2 covey of quail that lived within earshot of the house. You could hear them at night, doing their Bob White.
Yep.
And like nobody sees or hears quail anymore.
My buddy's trying to get me to grab a bunch of his quail.
I was surprised to know, damn, Arkansas has a gator season.
They do.
Yeah, I heard about it a few years ago. But yeah, I was surprised as hell to hear about that.
You do it on your fishing license, I believe. I don't have the guidebook handy. I'd have to look, but I don't live where they're at yet. But they're coming way up the Arkansas River.
Oh yeah, dude, I thought my I thought my granddaddy was crazy as hell years and years. I mean, many years ago. I think I was probably still in my teens, and he told me it was so many years before then. He said he saw one night around the rice fields, saw one in the ditch, and I thought he was crazy. And then a couple years ago, I read about Arkansas has got a gator season. I was like, well, maybe Papa wasn't all that off his rocker.
No. And I mean, they're not the big ones. They're not the each back one bite size, but I wouldn't want to mess with them.
Oh, they are fun as hell to mess with.
Oh no,
I got a mutual respect for stuff that eats me back, that could eat me back.
Man,
after like 5.5, before like 5 foot and under, you mess with them all day long. They're really not that bad. It's after they're bigger than you that you got to kind of worry about it.
Dude, well, here's the thing: you get a hold of 5-footers, 3-footers, 2-footers. Those things are fast. When they get up around 10 foot or so, they're fast, but they're not lightning fast. Those little guys are quick.
Most of the small ones a lot. We just snatch them up and grab them by the tail, and they can't really get you. So,
They're definitely the funnest animal that I have had the chance to hunt.
They are pretty fucking stupid though. It is enjoyable.
Yes, we're talking about gators.
Man, I don't know because I've chased some big ones. Man, they got old and smart. Matter of fact, that 13-footer, we chased him at least 2 years in a row, and that gator had the biggest case of voodoo on him that I have ever seen.
Yeah, they got a real big. He's freaking 14 at least. We've never gotten that close to him. He's out on a Lockheed property out here, but like this freaking thing is he's just huge. And I asked some of the guys that have been out there for 20, 30 years, how long has he been out here? He's like, freaking before I've been around.
Yeah, that's an old gator.
It's huge. Lives in a big deep pond.
You got to zig and zag.
Yeah, don't run in straight lines. And also, just to let the class know, the side of his head is the worst place to be.
Turn that neck real quick.
Oh yeah.
Sophia wants to hunt one. It's on her bucket list.
They are. I highly recommend it. The last we took was my wife's gator, and that was 10'6" or 10'7". Sorry, because hers was an inch bigger than my last one, so she had to rub that in my face. Right, the biggest one we've actually taken through the years, I think, was 11'6", and that was a bruiser.
I still can't imagine doing that out of a fucking boat.
Oh man, that's how we roll it, baby. That's the only way to go. Pat Wright, what's up, my brother?
Do your guys' deers have a CWD over there by you?
We're starting to get it. It's not real prevalent, but yeah, it's coming. But it is what it is, man.
It's pretty much all over PA now because the trophy hunting deer got out into the wild and gave it to the wild deer.
Dude,
we've got it in more than half of the state here.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was Michigan. I was flipping through some stuff the other day and caught one of their hearings. Can't remember was their Senate or their House. But their deer farmers were underneath one agency, and they were trying to stick them underneath DNR because DNR wants to kill their deer farmers. They want to shut them down. But here's the thing. They test their deer every single year, and the deer on their farms are coming back resistant to chronic wasting. So they're actually able to take some of their deer, release them into the wild, and then you have resistant deer out there breeding, making more resistant deer. And for some reason, DNR has a hard on and wants to shut them guys down. It makes no sense.
I didn't know you can be resistant to CWD. I thought it was just they're all getting killed.
I didn't know it till the other day, but yeah, you can. There's a lot of their deer on these farms are resistant to CWD.
Huh?
That
I understand they
originally heard it.
I didn't know that was a thing either, but as I understand it, the transmission is from eating and drinking over urine and feces.
Well, you just have to walk in its path, supposedly. Like, it just pees in it, and then you walk near it, and you get it, from what I've been told.
Yeah, it's
yeah, but that's
because I've heard a couple things, people trying to deal with CWD, and it's basically in the soil itself. And there's just no way to eradicate it. So you're going to have to end up with resistant animals to it. But learning that their deer farms are coming up with all kinds, and I think that lady said they test their herds every single year, and it was some crazy number, like in the 90 percentile or something. I'd have to look it back up, where their deer were coming back resistant to it. And yet DNR wants to shut all these farms down.
Well, here we've got it bad enough. they've got we have a core elk zone where they have the reintroduced elk population or whatever. If you find an elk outside of the elk zone during gun season, you can shoot it with your regular whitetail tag.
Oh man,
because they don't want them taking them back. I mean, you got to pay to process it and mount it and whatever, but you can shoot that sucker with your regular whitetail tag.
No, I know. Depending on who you ask for Pennsylvania whitetail deer, like supposedly the game commission just wants it eradicated, and that's why doe tags are like out the wazoo in numbers. Because the insurance companies are blaming the game commission about all the deer accidents. Don't know what tinfoil hat.
I mean, down here we can take. I think we can take 10 does right now. But part of that is our buck to doe ratio is so out of whack that you have a bunch of really inferior deer that are able to breed every single year. The numbers are just way out.
Do you guys have antler restriction? Because I know we do in PA.
We do, and I think we're starting it about everywhere. I know, like out on Benning, where I hunt with my dad a lot, you got to have 4 better on one side. Which the funny thing is with that, now you're ending up with a bunch of these screwy rack bucks that no one can touch. And with our buck to doe population, these little retards are out there just breeding their tails off. And or either that or we're ending up, and I've seen a bunch of them, just massive 6 points that you can't touch.
Yeah, we've got a 3-point rule, except for in the CWD zones. There, it's removed. You can, and button bucks count as a doe.
Yeah, that's how it is here. As long as you can't see the antler, you use your doe tag.
Over in Oklahoma, they changed how they sell their licenses, even for residents. Like now, you buy your hunting license, and then you have to buy each individual deer tag. And I've heard some argument that maybe they may go like Kansas, where they do a 1 buck limit, trying to get that population fixed, trying to get some more mature bucks. But Arkansas's got so many deer that they need to cull that I don't think we'll ever do that. Like you can do 6 deer total if you hunt all the seasons. You do 2 bucks and 4 does.
And I'll say this, man. I've seen some Arkansas deer that family have shot in the last few years around Wheatley and Brinkley and all that, and they have been massive.
Yeah, there's some big body deer. They just, for some reason, we don't have monster antler deer generally.
These had some freaking monster antlers, but they're growing up in rice fields, bean fields. I mean, they got everything in the world to feed on around that area.
Hey, I can't eat the antlers, man. I just care about the meat.
That's generally all I care about.
You got a lot of people who care about antlers, and it's like you can't eat them. Like,
oh, dude, I'll whack a doe in a hurry. Year before last, I think I killed 9 deer total. Only one of them was an antlered buck. The rest of them, I was just wrecking meat.
I gotta get into bow season for PA because that's so many deer get taken out for bow season. Barely anything's left for rifle, or they just know where to hide, so to stay out of the way.
Yeah, they get educated, especially depending on when the season kicks in. They get educated. Deer are not stupid.
No, that's my big mission before archery starts up is go to a couple of these bow shacks and get a nice crossbow.
I haven't got a deer the last 2 years trying, but I've been wanting to take one with my AR just to prove that it can be done. I mean, not that there's not hours of footage on YouTube already, but so that when the discussion comes up in the shop, I could say I've done it. I have friends that have done it multiple times, but
Oh, dude, if I was going to whack a deer with a standard AR-15 shooting 5.56, I'd be shooting at least 77 grain. I mean, at least 77 grain. And yeah, it's definitely doable. I mean,
I'm dialed in with some. I'm dialed in with some 55 grain Superior Golden Dots. I figure if they'll do people, they'll do whitetail. I'm gonna neck shoot it anyways. Where I'm at, it's so thick that you've only got a 50-yard shot, so it's gonna be a very intentional, precise shot.
Yeah, that may not be that bad. Now, years ago, man, I had a buddy of mine. Hell, we were hunting over on some property in Marion County, Georgia. And we got out there that morning, and he had his girlfriend at the time's, her mom's AR, which was like a M16A2 kind of clone. And he whacked a buck that morning. He shot. I was standing there with him. He put at least 3 rounds in that deer side. I tracked that joker all the way down the hill, all the way up the hill, all the way down the hill, all the way through a swamp, all the way onto Fort Benning, and we never found that deer. And that dude was not a bad shot at all. But I told him if he brought that thing hunting again, I was going to beat him to death with it.
I didn't have anybody to take me when I was growing up, but in my adult life, I'm 1 for 1 on triggers pulled on whitetail deer.
Dude, I've had some crazy ones, man. I had a doe. It's probably been about 4 years ago. I hit her heart lung with a 308, took out the top of one lung, took out the top of her heart, completely busted her left side shoulder, and that little girl still ran 100 yards. Deer are amazing. And of course, she ran downhill, so guess what my fat butt got to do?
Drag her uphill.
Yeah, drag her uphill.
That is a nice thing. I just dragged on a flat ground for my one deer I had.
Oh, man, we had some places. I mean, we're not the hilliest country on the planet down here, but you got some places that, I mean, you got some steep terrain to walk up and down. And they never want to stay on flat ground. Ever. Just, it's that little bit of get back after you put that round in them.
Looks like Honda's live lawfully.
Yep, that's what Calhoun's saying. Sophia's gonna drop his link in here, so anyone that's watching, there it is. If they want to, they can jump over to the 2A Taco Tuesday chat on eHonda 420's channel. I don't want to take his slot.
All right, we'll catch you guys later. I may or may not bounce over. I'm about ready to try to get some sleep. So, but anyway, lawfully, thanks for letting me step in with you, brother.
Yeah, thanks lawfully.
Thank you all for being here.
You guys be cool, man. We'll catch you on another one shortly.
Will do.
Yes, sir.
Later, guys.
Have fun. Be safe.
Always.
We're going to eHonda. Thank you, everyone.